Today's episode is sponsored by Skillshare. So this opening song is like a metaphor for the entire movie. They pulled Harley out of Suicide Squad just like You Don't Own Me, rewrote her story and the song, and then built something new and better around it. We're not pretending like Suicide Squad didn't happen, but also Charlotte Lawrence's song takes it to a whole new level. And it's even better when you consider the song is about getting out of a bad relationship. It's self-referential all the way around.
The joke's on you.
It gotta start at the beginning.
And then they proceed to jump around for some non-linear storytelling, like a meta lampshade.
Had my heart broken once or twice.
DCEU canon Poison Ivy and Harley.
I handled it real mature.
Honesty. I'm not gonna lie, Margot Robbie is still the best live-action Harley by far. She sells the huge gap between how Harley sees Harley and how the world sees Harley. But apparently not everything is allowed to call back to Suicide Squad. Leto Joker has been ostensibly replaced by Cartoon Joker, which is really Hamill Joker if we're being honest.
Here's the thing about new love.
I take payment in kind.
You have to feed it.
Double entendre. Also, I went in so blind to this movie that I didn't even know it was R, so every raised steak was a surprise. It's only fair that the comic book character on roller skates is in a roller derby, plus it's right out of the New 52. Now we get a little cinematography and direction flexing. This is a super fun long take oneer, pushing through the night at high speed, occasionally slowing down to catch up with Harley still drinking more, or making room for more drinks. And there isn't much more Harley than walking away from an explosion wearing only one heel, and not in slow motion, I might add. Even the title card is telling the story. Huntress's arrow, or actually it's a bolt and mask, someone's knife, Harley's bat and hammer, the diamond, and what is that, a comb or crown? It's like for Canary's hair?
Halloween?
The Ramona Flowers massacre isn't something I knew I wanted, but now I'm glad I have it.
This was their spot. She just publicly updated her relationship status.
You know, I give Montoya credit for a Facebook reference because TikTok would have felt forced coming from her. It was when Danny Castellano started peeling this dude's face off that Julia said, "How are you gonna do this movie?" And I said, "If I can do Star Wars..." No, just kidding. What I said was, if you don't have a lot of time to build a villain's backstory, this is a good way to let us know he's real bad and also give us a visceral reaction towards him.
I think we can let her go. I mean, this is a pretty loud show of a message.
And then Roman reiterated my point.
Is that a snot bubble? Gross. Oh, I've changed my mind. Peel it off.
Really reiterated it. Also, black mask, peeling faces, his whole little head thing, well, comic accurate obviously, and gives him a tangible thing. Faces.
But no one makes an egg sandwich like Sal.
I mean it, Sal. No one.
Fourth wall break mixed with Harley's reality. Look, the face peeling was bad, but once I realized this sandwich was going to rest in the annals of history alongside Kevin McAllister's mac and cheese, I realized how it earned its R.
Since my little stunt at Ace Chemicals...
Stunt, just reminding us what Harley is capable of. More than you. Another perfect image of Harley. Distracted by a fanny pack that matches her socks in the middle of a chase scene. And this is the most gruesome thing to happen in this movie, no doubt. First, they objectify that sandwich, and now they murder it in cold blood.
What, no come back?
Ha, because she swallowed the diamond. Even in flashbacks, the continuity is correct. Here goes the goon checking to see if Huntress is dead. Shotgun beanbag to the face is another fantabulous example of how Harley is portrayed. She's not necessarily vindictive or extra cruel. She will kill you, obviously, but she's almost more terrifying because she's like a toddler with a machete. She doesn't always think things through, and at any time I worry she might stab me in the neck just because. You know what I'm getting at? This could have killed this guy. Also, speed ramping confetti grenade explosion. Yep. Also, badass Batgirl. And a no-look kill. Well, not a kill. No-look confetti. Sound waves incorporated into her character card and a canary tattoo on her shoulder.
She's got a killer voice.
And it's really Journey Smollett-Bell's voice.
Here comes Roman Sion as he was handed life on a silver spoon.
That feeling when you're so out of touch with the serfs you don't even know their idioms. I can't say for sure what Patrick Batman would say about this one, but he'd appreciate at least some of her style. Resourcefulness. Human weapon. Hey, these ladies have some stuff in common. What are they, some kind of birds of prey?
Why don't I own the crossbow guy?
You should own
I mean, I like crossbows.
Always a happy surprise when someone like Ewan just gets to go nuts and do or say whatever they want.
Yeah, he's 1,000 years old, and now he's just an ornament in my living room. Ooh, I love it.
Aha, and Roman's doing the exact same pose as his statue.
Excuse me, sorry.
I love that this was done as in camera as possible, with the camera losing the subject for a second because of the person blocking it. It's all fun and games watching people get robbed until it's you. As much as I'd love to get all political here, I feel it's my duty to point out that Harley's narration says, I voted for Bernie because I thought it'd make life harder for, and then it overlaps too much, but it's safe to assume she says him or Romy. You know, because Bernie would tax him more. So less civic duty altruism or just another lark. And that's when you knew he wasn't likely to end the movie in one piece.
Quite continental.
You're all like, oh, it's Ewan, and so really this is Moulin Rouge now? Oh, no, this is America. But really, it's just Harley turning getting that diamond back into a song. Also, she's wearing pants instead of Marilyn's dress because that's something Roman hates about her. She steals his limelight. She wears the pants in their relationship. So the one thing I was unsure about first time through is how Harley found out Cass had the diamond. But this line making its way into the song means we don't hear their entire conversation, and it's fair to assume that Roman would have told her.
Hey, I know that guy.
Did he die? I feel like he died. No, that was just Slipknot. Yeah. Yup. Hey, that was a superhero landing pose. Again, going in blind, did not expect Harley the pro wrestler in slow-mo. Happy about it.
This is Katana. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
Sick reversal with the bat. Margot Robbie did this stunt. Now I don't even need to say those are cap-level shield skills since he's good with bat-like objects now too. Surprised baking soda would dilate your pupils and give you a rush like that. Seriously phenomenal choreography. I'm starting to think she has something against knees being in their proper position. Spoke too soon. She put it back. No. There are some lines you just don't cross, Harley. You don't burn a beautiful beard, but also brutal.
You trust a very...
Hey, I think that should be a CinemaWins Word of the Week. And a level of unnecessary theatrics I've come to expect from Harley. Oh, that Harley Quinn laugh. I know it's simple and possibly nothing, but even the way Harley carries that bag of dog food with one hand that looks like a 30-pound bag, just a subtle reminder to your brain that Harley is stronger than your average bear.
Is that a hyena in a bathtub?
I named him Bruce.
Harley does have a complicated relationship with people. And wait, so that's Pat Man she's talking about, right?
I never said that. I love people equally.
Another difference between Deadpool and Harley's version of Fourth Wall Breaks is that I think Harley sometimes forgets she needs to narrate and she may not be talking to us at all.
Does Brucey want a treat?
So, Bruce is the tramp, or? There's no non-brutal but still leave you feeling uneasy way to kill an entire family, including a young child, but if you have to make sure we know her brother died, having him let go of the toy car is about as tasteful as you can kill a kid. What a weird sentence.
Do you know who I am?
Realism. Just because you've been trained to fight doesn't mean one-liners will come easy to you.
What is she laughing at?
Yeah, a little voice modulation there to let us know how Roman is hearing that laugh.
Is she laughing at me? She is.
Probably talking to a niche part of this audience about the similarities between Nick Haas from Season 3 of The Sinner and Zaz are just too much to ignore, just different kinds of crazy evil. But if there's ever been a better whisper poison in your ear with a raspy voice, I don't know them.
She is. Get up there and cut it off.
And once you know a guy likes small heads and peeling faces, it ratchets the tension up because you never know where we're headed next.
Holy backdoor, Petey.
Still in Robin's Gotham. And that explosion was practical. Roman legit wears a shirt with a pattern made of his face. Does clothing get any better than that? I super hope Ewan got to keep them. Okay, so even if this story bounces around like crazy, this finale with everyone coming together in one location is some spectacular anticipation building. Maybe reworked, slowed down cover versions of popular songs is a little overdone between every trailer in the last decade and Grey's Anatomy, but hot dog does it work for letting this calm before the storm breathe a little. Quick learner.
I'll have to learn that one.
Determination. Persistence.
They call me
Helena Bertinelli.
For f***'s sake.
Oh, it's the Nightcrawler problem. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
and now I'm done.
Bravo.
I genuinely believe Harley means that. Like, that is a story she would get behind.
Who do you think funded Galante's little power grab, huh? Galante was working with Sionis.
You might be wondering why Inigo's sister is all of a sudden sober. Well, believe it or not, there's a medical precedent for this. Getting into a fight, thrown through a window, and then being in a Mexican standoff are all super high adrenaline events which can overpower the effects of alcohol and put you on high alert. Just visually speaking here, which is where we started. Oh man, this video isn't even up anymore. Hasn't been for years. Well, this was the first badass bad guy, and it was all about the jacket and the swagger. So, Black Mask is a badass bad guy.
Will this do?
No. Not at all.
Every nod or homage or straight up theft of Deadpool has really just got me itching for a DC Marvel crossover with Harley and Deadpool. We'll just have to wait until Disney buys WB. So we saw her turn Puddin' into Puddin' Cups, but I'm just noticing the J is now a mermaid.
What the hell is up with this bow and arrow shit?
It's not a f***ing bow and arrow, it's a crossbow. I'm not 12. I don't have rage issues!
You know.
So brutal, but also inventive faux slang.
You are so cool.
True. Seriously, she might be tied for my favorite Helena, trained from a young age to kill people, who has a hard time fitting in normal society but finds some comfort in her ancestros. I'm also loving that each bird has their own fighting style. Huntress uses a lot of CQC and takedowns, Black Canary is always doing spin kicks, probably karate or taekwondo. Montoya is a brawler, and Harley is kind of a mix of all of them, always going for spectacle and something with acrobatics, which makes sense since Margot has the background and skill set already. Also, yup, a bunch of badasses tearing the bird fodder apart. One of those things that never happens in these movies, and the very reason most female assassins would put their hair up before a fight if possible. There's a lot that's awesome about this fight scene, but these are some long takes with actual fight choreography, never cutting away for impacts. I felt some inspiration from John Wick, and honestly, this is the revenge John deserved anyway. Also, that's the back of Chad Stahelski's head. He was second unit director, and now I know 8711, the team who did John Wick coordinated action sequences here.
Get down!
Also teamwork, have I said that? All kinds of wonder teamwork. It is a Gotham staple that goons always try melee attacks first, guns are for second wave. It's a rule. And fair to say, in face-peeling villain world, none of Bat's rogues are ever looking to dole out the quick death.
Ooh! Aren't you glad you wore that? Sexy and bulletproof.
She meant it.
You're kidding. Right, gotta take care of the girls.
Canary, you know what you have to do!
Oh, right. Superman exists. And in case you missed why Montoya knew Canary had that power, remember when she was talking about her mom?
You have the same power she had.
More long takes. These fights never feel random or haphazard. Each one feels like a deliberate, well thought out battle, with Harley moving from the back through the guys to the front. And it's not without humor or ingenuity. And because she's the bad guy, or anti-hero, whatever, we get to revel in her destruction with her.
With me!
Also a little callback.
With me!
I have no idea how roller skate wheels work, and it's probably not like this, but Rule of Cool is carrying a lot of water here. Yep. Margot explained this move is not the most practical or efficient, but it's the only thing that made sense to Harley, and that's just perfect. Also, yeah. Anti-stormtrooper aim for the statue.
That was super embarrassing.
Astute observations.
You made me want to be a less terrible person.
Worked when OG Joker said it to Helen Hunt. Deep cut, deep cut.
Ew.
But yeah, that's fair. Ha! Who knew she was good at putting stuff in people's pockets? Oh, comeuppance. And hey, look, a smiley face. Hugging.
It's a crossbow.
Camaraderie.
Does she always talk like the cop in a bad 80s movie, or?
I'm right smack in the middle between Huntress, who's 1 year older, and Canary, who's 1 year younger than me, so I'd really like to understand why they keep saying bad 80s cop movies. That doesn't exist. There are no bad 80s cop movies. Yeah, Black Canary in her signature blue jumpsuit and fishnets. Okay, you know Psycho Bale Bat would be into that one. Can I win taking a bite of a long-lost sandwich because of the childhood trauma of that mac and cheese just sitting there all night? Sure can. And some artistic representations of each actor's character's credits.
I'll tell you a super duper secret, but you can't tell anyone. Did you know that Batman...
I did know he fully loves bats. I first want to say that Birds of Prey, as the title, at least the one we all use, is another bit of hilarious meta-comedy since this movie is not only barely about the Birds of Prey, it's really Harley's movie. She's never been a member in the comics or cartoons, and she's not a member at the end of this film. I get that's probably why we got the title change up. Also marketability. I've talked a lot in the past about your mindset when going into a movie and how negative reviews and low expectations can sometimes work in the film's favor. Well, this time I had the opposite of that usual influence because it had a pretty decent Rotten Tomatoes score and a few people whose opinions I respect and like had said it was pretty good. So I went in knowing I needed to calm my expectations, but I still didn't. Sometimes it's impossible to avoid the buzz. So all that high horse talk from last week where I try to have the best first viewing experience, yeah, I failed. I couldn't stop thinking about complaints I've seen for other movies that were appearing here, dumb things that don't normally bother me were seeping in. Also, I apparently made up a video or a review in my head where someone compared Black Mask to an MCU villain and explained why Black Mask was better, and so I was expecting some crazy, complex... Anyway, all that to say, it took me a second viewing to appreciate how fun this movie is. The story is solid, albeit straightforward. The action is fantastic. It ended up being more of a focus than I expected. Margot is amazing as Harley, and between Chris Messina and Ewan, the villains are hateable. So I do like this movie. I think it's better than Suicide Squad in some areas, and I think Suicide Squad is better in others. But actually, let's talk about Black Mask a little, because even if he's not given the most time to be developed, it's tough to miss with Ewan McGregor.
Do as you're told.
And he's also not just totally one note. You can tell he's got some anger problems. Again, I'll make the toddler comparison I did with Harley, since these are like full-on tantrums with no regard for anyone or anything. And he has some insecurities which line up with being kicked out of the family business.
Family.
So he runs his club like a benevolent god that occasionally snaps. Also, he's an excellent dancer and thinks lots of things are...
Ew.
Ewan's great. It's hard to talk about this movie without acknowledging something that makes it different, but I'm also not really looking to wade into the controversy around this one. There's always a controversy. I'll just say, I think the Birds of Prey are all very attractive, and it's weird that dudes pretended like they aren't, even if there's a deliberate difference in the portrayal compared to Suicide Squad. But I felt zero agenda. It's a movie about a villain being less villainous than another villain. I noticed the genders, and sure, I wouldn't pretend like it's not deliberate. Of course it is. But there was also a distinct lack of any "we are women, hear us roar" scenes. These men are all bad, for sure, but this girl is also bad. This guy seems alright, and Sal might be Harley's favorite non-sandwich thing in Gotham. The end. And a mostly female cast with a female writer and a female director is cool. It's a different perspective that doesn't happen that often. And I love seeing stories about and from people that are not like me. Total tangent, but Jude stumbled onto my Neighbor Totoro Blu-ray like a week ago, and he's watched it a dozen times since then. I legit couldn't be happier, and I know if I'd forced it on him, he probably wouldn't have loved it as much as just finding it and asking me if he could watch it. Anyway, point is, all Studio Ghibli films offer a different perspective than the one I'm used to. And not just because of the mystical or fantastical aspects, but because I don't live in Japanese culture. And I know I'm not alone in saying that I want to live inside a Studio Ghibli film. It's unique. Birds of Prey is also unique with a unique voice. This silly little hair in the face gag, we just don't see that much in action movies. The only one that comes to mind is Jurassic World, and it's really not the same. And even though I'm sure it was mostly for every woman who's ever made fun of a female character being written with her hair down, perfectly curled, and never out of place, I get so much joy in seeing the world grounded a little bit, even from a character that sings so loud it sends people flying through the air. Also, she still kicks butt while putting her hair up. And again, I'll defend Wonder Woman's right to look however she wants. Goddesses do what goddesses do. I also enjoyed Harley's character arc. Breakups and being enveloped by a partner aren't really gendered phenomena. It's one that could apply to anybody in an abusive or toxic relationship. Harley needed to learn for herself that she didn't need her ex-boyfriend as part of her identity, which she proved throughout the movie, struggling with who she really is. Is she the type to trade Cass's life for her freedom, as even the nicest man she knows is willing to do? Or can she prove everyone who thinks,
Some people just aren't born to stand on their own.
You know you can't stand on your own, Quinn.
wrong and choose to do something outside of who Joker told her she was, like save a random kid when she could have just walked away. It's nothing super complex, but it works as a new post-Suicide Squad origin for Harley rather than Joker's Harley. And I don't know how people feel about her origin, but one of the coolest things about Harley Quinn is that she was a cartoon character first, not a comic book character. She appeared in Batman the Animated Series first, and everyone loved her so much they made her canon in the comics. And I feel like that allows writers to tell their own stories a little more easily. I really enjoyed the neon aesthetic in Suicide Squad, and it's present here and works just as well. Darren Aronofsky's DP, Matthew Libatique, obviously had a huge hand in that. Like I said, the choreography had a slight John Wick feel to it, but there's also something new and different that we get from Kathy Yan's direction and Christina Hodson's writing. The whole non-linear opening felt like it was right out of Harley's brain, but was never too convoluted to follow. I think it's awesome that Margot has taken creative control of the character, and honestly, I hope she's pushing for the same types of deals Tom Cruise gets, because she's worth it. I like this movie. It's completely competent and well made, but Margot elevates it with a fully realized character. To the point where it hurts my brain when I hear her Aussie accent come out of her mouth again. I also won't pretend like I don't love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. We all do. I can't even explain it fully. She's just... well,
So cool.
not a tiny budget, also not an MCU budget, but such a well-made film with so much done practically. But honestly, the German Shepherd turned hyena tricked me, so I know there are things in here that are digital that I wasn't aware of. But also there's so much behind-the-scenes footage of this scene, and this scene, and this scene. And I know the ladies did most, is the word that everyone keeps using, of their own stunts. Renee Moneymaker was there, so obviously she did some of the more technical, dangerous stuff. Harley may not be the best person to look up to, but who doesn't love to see a bunch of people with all different backgrounds and ideological differences come together for one goal to save Cass and kick Black Mask? I'm excited to see where they take these characters next. And if writing characters that are different from you is something you want to learn, today's sponsor Skillshare has the perfect class for you by published author and teacher at UC Davis, Yoon Lee, called Writing Character-Driven Short Stories. She breaks down how to create characters for short stories when you have less time to meander, and you can imagine how valuable that would be for creating characters in any type of story, and she takes you through the entire process from start to finish. And if you don't know yet, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes designed to help you create new skills or expand ones you already have. Yoon Lee actually talks in her class about how everyone is a writer, and writing can actually be a great stress reliever. Or if you're more into drawing or painting or photography, even making short films, Skillshare has a teacher in class for that. An annual subscription is less than $10, but the first 1,000 of my fans to click my link in the description and join will get 2 months for free, so you can try some different classes out. So check it out, link is in the description. They're always adding new teachers and classes. I know you'll get a lot out of it. So hey, this felt less controversial. That's nice. Next week, that 5-year-old movie I was talking about.
Let's see Paul Allen's go.
Look at that subtle off-white coloring, the tasteful thickness of it. Oh my God. It even has a watermark.